All right, Celine. Yeah. So again, this is Diaspora Scholars TV, where we bring stories of students like you. We try to provide them with a voice to be able to share the experiences in the U.S. and also to be able to share their thoughts about how to uplift other aspiring students who are still in Africa and the people in Africa to be able to say that you can be able to get where you are. Because like right now, for example, you are a PhD student, you've done 4 years. How long do you have before you graduate?
So I'm hoping to graduate this coming year in 2025.
2025.
Yes. Right now I'm doing kind of the final stages of the program. So including my study and then my dissertation.
So what is your dissertation about?
So my dissertation is going to be on school discipline, looking at restorative practices as a school discipline model. A lot of schools, especially within the past 10 years, have been implementing like restorative practices in their school discipline model. So instead of just like saying like you're going to be giving you like a suspension, they now bring the student who has committed, let's say whatever like behavior offense. They bring them and they have maybe like let's say something that they call like a circle that they get to talk with the people that they've harmed in the community and then figure out how do we repair what has been damaged.
So like a focus group discussion.
Yes, but where the person though who has committed the harm, the student, is able to be given an opportunity, a chance to be part of like repairing the harm instead of just suspending them.
Instead of being punitive.
Yes, being punitive. Yes, they're doing restorative models. So I'm interested to see how is the student's perspective on this new discipline model. How, and then specifically students with disabilities too, how accessible is it for them? Because sometimes students with disabilities, a lot of these like a lot of like the practices in restorative require dialogue, require to have conversations. But if you have like a communication disability, it's hard for you to communicate. Sometimes it might be hard for you to communicate verbally. Or if you have, for example, a social emotional like disorder, it could be anxiety inducing, having to be in a room to talk about the things that you've done that maybe you're ashamed about. So it could bring up a lot of guilt. It could bring up a lot of anxiety. So and students might not be able to actually be able to navigate and to feel like that those practices are accessible for them. So my research is really to hear from the students, from their voice, how is this new discipline model going for them?
Yeah, I hear you. So it looks like this is a model that is very sensitive to the student, even if they are looking at the indiscipline case. It's about looking at the sensitivity or looking at the student as a whole in terms of their mental health, in terms of everything that has got to do with the student, instead of just looking at what has been, the ill commission that has been done. You look at the student first before you try and repair. And I like the word restorative, to restore what was there initially to make it better, right?
Yes.
Oh, interesting, and quite noble indeed. And congratulations to where you've been so far. I mean, you've done 4 years, it's only 1 year to go. What do you want to do after you graduate in 2025?
So I'm hoping to maybe work at a college that has like a education department, because for the past now 3 years, I've also been doing some instructional coaching where I support teachers, especially new teachers, by because I was also a teacher, a classroom teacher, a high school classroom teacher.
You are a classroom teacher?
I was. And
let's talk about that before. Which schools have you taught?
So I've taught specifically at Phoenix Charter Academy.
Phoenix Charter Academy.
Yes, and then now
that is in Arizona.
Oh no, actually, it's in here, Springfield.
Yeah, so that's why I was like, Phoenix is Arizona, right?
No, it's just the name. They love the
symbol of the bird. Symbol of the bird.
Phoenix. Yeah.
So Phoenix Charter Academy in
Springfield, Massachusetts.
In Springfield, Massachusetts. Yes. So this is a middle school or high school?
High school.
It's a high school.
Yes, and it's a high school. It's a charter high school that also serves students who have been disadvantaged in multiple ways, whether it is like young teen parents or parents who have unfortunately been through the system, or who have now found success at other schools. So this is like a school for them that caters to like their specific needs, and that tries to really support them in ways that usually like regular public high school may not support them.
Oh, that's really good. So you taught, did you ever teach only that school? Is there any other you've taught?
Right now I'm also teaching a little bit of teaching, with also supporting teachers as well.
Oh, supporting teachers as well. Those who are trying to get licensed.
So those, yes, as well. But this is another school specifically in Springfield too.
Oh, okay.
So it's called Veritas Prep.
Veritas Prep.
Yes.
How are you balancing all this?
I love education. So
you are really committed.
I'm immersed in everything to do with education. And I was actually recently talking to my mom, and she was saying how her and my father, they were both educators. So in a way,
you come from a family of educators.
Yes, I'm following their footsteps in education.
I don't think we have a gene for educators, but looks like this.
It might be.
There might be, and that's very noble and very encouraging, because many people say teaching is a calling. It's about you serving.
Yes.
It's not about you getting from the community. It's about you serving the community, and bringing about as they always say, future leaders.
Yes.
And people who can really change the world. Oh, okay. So looks like you have a plan cut out for you for what you want to do, and it's all looking really good. Yeah. But then again, I always come back and ask this question every time I interview, somebody on this show. There's somebody watching from Africa. What can you tell them? What can you tell that young girl in Kigali? That young girl in Byumba, that guy, what can you tell that young boy, in Rwanda or Africa? What should they do? What should they not do to be successful, at least in terms of being great teachers or becoming, joining graduate school and being able to balance all these activities? You are teaching 2 schools. You are also working with teachers who are in college here. You also have a dissertation to write, and I figure many other things. You also have your own non-profit where you're empowering women in Rwanda, and you have to do all this. So what is your advice to, these young girls and boys, and indeed anybody watching? What should they do and what should they not do to get where you are?
Yeah. So I always think there's so many different paths, of course, like everyone's path is very different. It's unique. So I'll probably just say, based on my own experience, how I have gotten here. And so they can take then from them, from my own experience, what works for them and what doesn't. The biggest thing for me, I actually say, to how I've gotten here, which I haven't mentioned before, was, for me, God.
God.
So faith comes in, and it's the central, it's the foundation for me, because going back to when I said how I started the work in Rwanda with a cooperative, I knew in my heart as a 16, 17-year-old, I was a high school student. I did not have the funds. I just had that desire, in my heart. And so I knew there was no way I could do it on my own. And even to convince, as you said, American students to come with me who have never gone to Rwanda, and some of them, just because of media, sometimes they portray Africa as like a very scary place to go. So I knew convincing people from America to come and help me with this project was not going to be easy. So I prayed about it. And so for me, praying.
Number one is God.
Yes, number one is God.
Have
prayer.
Faith.
Yes.
Pray.
Faith.
It's deliberate.
Yes.
Yeah, it's about praying and adding purpose to your life.
To not underestimate the power of prayer.
You can have or lose everything, but you can never lose God.
No. So with all these things too that I do, it's out of, for me, just my relationship with God. I serve, as you said, that word serving. It's a way of just serving God, because of just how I've seen Him be so good to me. And so everything comes out of just that love that he has for me and that relationship.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Really wonderful. So you went with some American students to Rwanda?
Yes. And actually, something I didn't mention afterwards, when I went to college, it continued.
You did?
The project, yes.
You moved with it to college?
Yes, because once then I finished high school, I knew I wanted to continue. I didn't want this to be another project that just happened for one summer and then fails. So what I ended up doing I went to Mount Holyoke College, which is actually part of the 5 colleges here with UMass.
So okay, UMass, what's the name of the college again?
Mount Holyoke College. So it's a women's college.
Oh, okay.
And so here in this valley, we have 5 colleges. And so it's UMass, Mount Holyoke College, Smith, Amherst College, and Hampshire College.
Oh yeah, and I saw Hampshire College when I was driving to this place. Yeah.
They're all very like within this area.
Very close within reach.
Yes, and it's a great. I love this because you can take courses at all those schools. When you are attending one school, you are allowed to go and take courses at all the other schools as well. So,
oh really?
Yes. So it's
that's
great...
a model that I didn't think about. Probably that's what the Commonwealth means. I mean, probably, but
not sure.
But I will need to find out a little bit more.
Yes.
So you took it to college and continued the program.
Yes. So at Mount Holyoke, they were pushing for like entrepreneurship within their students. So they had a grant. It's called a Davis for Peace grant, and where they give college students $10,000 to do a project in a country where there is where they're focusing on peace building. So I
applied for it.
I applied for it, and the first year I didn't get it. So something else I can tell the young people who are watching is to not be discouraged, to not give up, because the first year I didn't receive the grant. It went to someone else, but then I received an advice that there was things I needed to do with my writing with the grant. And so if I had not listened to the advice or just been hurt and not taken in the advice and humbled myself, I probably wouldn't have gotten to where I was able to get to the next year, because I listened to that advice. I changed those things that needed to be changed. And I gained faith. So I prayed, had hope that if it is God's will, it will happen. And then I ended up receiving the grant the following year.
The following year.
Yeah. And that grant allowed us to be able then to build a cooperative home. So now the cooperative has like their own home in Rwanda.
They have their own home in Rwanda.
Yes.
What was the name of that grant again?
Yes, it's a great grant is happening today. It's
so what is
Davis for Peace.
Davis for Peace.
Yes.
And so students can apply for it.
Yes.
To do projects that promote peace.
Yes. And it's not just a Mount Holyoke. So this is all over the country in the U.S. So there's a lot of different colleges that participate in it. And the Davis for Peace organization, they take one or two students from each college that they give this grant to. So it doesn't have to be in Massachusetts. You might be in a college, university in another state, and you can also apply for it through your school.
Wonderful. And you said, even if you don't get it the first time, keep applying. Try to correct your writing, probably your mission. Think through what you can do to make it better. You might just get a chance of being able to be funded for your project.
Exactly. Because you never know, as long as you continue to try, you never know what will happen. The thing that you know for sure is if you don't do anything, if you don't try, then nothing will come out of it. So.
Wow, wonderful. Earlier on when you were talking, I mean, now it's very clear that, faith is at the key of some of your decisions and some of the things you do. What about your mom? I think your mother,
yes.
I think you seem to talk like there's a lot that your mother has been able to shape in you.
Oh, yes.
Because I keep thinking of her decision to take you to this boarding school where you are to learn all these trades, including raising cows,
farming
and doing
cleaning their poop, all of that. Like you had to do feeding them hay.
And here you are a teenager. You feel like this is not what I should.
This is what I came to to do here in America.
Yeah, those are not pictures you post on Facebook or Instagram.
No, no.